Hi, I'm Frank Cho, and welcome to Dizon Carousel.
So hi, thank you for your time, Frank. I read that you was born in South Korea and you moved to USA when you was 6. Yeah. What memory do you have of growing up in Korea, and how did you experience this change of country, culture, and languages?
I don't really remember too much about Korea. I just remember that the teachers were very strict. I remember I did something, and then the teacher, they have corporal punishment. So the teachers told me to, and they'll hit me with the ruler when I was 6.
Okay.
So I remember that, but
That was in Korea.
that was in Korea.
Okay.
But besides that, I don't really remember much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after that, when you moved in US?
I remember. I remember we got here and we had that massive blizzard. I think it was like 79, and I remember we walked out of the apartment. They had a porch. It was like about 4 feet high. I remember walking off the porch in the apartment area, and then I didn't know where the step was, so I took one step and I just went into the snow, and the snow was like, that's what I remember about America. When I first got here.
I read that you studied to become a nurse. And how did your parents react when you told them that you want to become a comic book artist after all?
Yes, I have a nursing degree from University of Maryland. And being a typical Asian family, my parents really wanted me to become a doctor. And also my mom is like super Catholic. So I was raised Catholic. And so she wanted me to become a priest. She said, if I can't be a doctor, she wanted me to become a priest. Okay. And then I'm like, no. So they were disappointed when I decided to become an artist, a comic book writer, artist. So they were, I guess they're more confused than disappointed. They're like, why would a grown man want to be a comic book, draw cartoons for a living? They thought it was kind of weird. So they were not happy when I first started.
Okay. But after, when you have success, maybe you say, okay, it's a great job, man.
Yeah.
For sure. Did you remember the first comic book you read? And is it this one who made you want to become an artist?
Oh, yeah. So I started collecting comics when I was in 5th grade. So I was like about 10, 11, around there. And I remember the very first comics that I got was Fantastic Four number 250 by John Byrne, Uncanny X-Men 166 by Paul Smith and Chris Claremont, Amazing Spider-Man 238 with the Hobgoblin, where he's like ripping the...
What a memory.
Yeah, I mean, and so those comics, it just kind of like, all my friends were collecting comics, so we all got into comics together. And then I remember the Walt Simonson's Thor run, with the Beta Ray Bill. So they all hit me at once, and then that's when I wanted to become a comic book artist.
Great, cool. You start by drawing cartoon strip for students' newspaper. I think it was Everything But the Kitchen Sink, and University too.
University
Square. So how do you go from that to a professional editor?
So I drew for the high school newspaper a daily comic strip, which is like, it's a humor strip. It's completely different from comic books. Okay. So it's Everything But the Kitchen Sink and University Square. So I was a big Bloom County fan by Burke Breathitt, and Doonesbury fan by Trudeau. Okay. So, and Calvin and Hobbes fan.
Calvin and Hobbes, sure.
So they all it's mainly Bloom County. Bloom Comic got me into a newspaper comic strip, and so I decided to do that in the newspaper, and then I became syndicated. I became a nationally syndicated cartoonist for with Liberty Meadows.
Okay.
So yeah, so I did a college newspaper's cartoon comic strip, and I won the best college cartoonist of that year, and that led into a syndication contract. And so I did that for 5 years. I did Liberty Meadows, which was a newspaper daily comic strip for 5 years, and then I got tired of it, and I quit.
Just quit.
I just quit because in America they were censoring everything. They had a lot of censorship, so I just got tired of being censored, and I just quit. And then turned out Axel Alonso at Marvel Comics was a big fan of mine, and so he just called me up out of the blue and just recruited me to come to Marvel.
Really simple. After
all. It was very simple. Yeah. So people say, "How'd you break into comics?" I said, "I just picked up the phone."
The best way.
Yeah. I was extremely lucky.
That's great for us. So yeah, 5 years of Liberty Meadows. For 5 years, okay. So which is the same spirit as a newspaper strip. It must be hard to come up with new gags every day for so long.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, like, I've always been, people always think that I just drew as a kid, but actually I wrote a lot too.
Okay.
So, and writing jokes, it was kind of easy for me,
okay.
So the hard part is coming up with jokes that wasn't offensive. So people
because of the censored.
Yeah. So like my natural humor tend to be a little bit on the I guess offensive side. So they would censor me all the time. So writing jokes, it's not hard. It's just editing.
Good jokes.
Yeah, good jokes. Yeah, where I have to like edit myself and make it clean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess this is the hard part. Sure. At the beginning of 2000s, you finally worked for Marvel. First with covers for a few years, then interior pages, if I'm good, for Marvel Knight Spider-Man. I think it is one of your first.
All right. Yeah. So what happened was like I joined Marvel 2003.
Okay.
Around 2003, and I wrote and drew Shanna the She-Devil for the Max line. It was a rated R, mature audience comic. And then halfway through it, Disney bought Marvel, or Marvel was trying to sell to Disney. And so they decided to get rid of the Max line. So halfway through, I was done because it's all rated R stuff. So you have a lot of nudity and violence.
Yeah.
And I had to stop and redo everything. I got censored again.
You have to redraw everything?
I had to redraw all the, cover her up,
Okay.
And then, and so they were also, so that was my first job at Marvel.
Okay.
But they needed a fill-in artist for Marvel Knight Spider-Man with Mark Miller was drawing that. And I guess Terry Dodson he was taking a break.
Okay.
So they needed a fill-in artist. So I did 2 issues of Marvel Knight Spider-Man.
Okay.
And that came out before Shanna the She-Devil.
Yeah.
But Shanna the She-Devil was my first work at
official.
Right.
Okay.
And then after that, I think they put me on fill-in issue for Avengers.
With
Bendis, yeah. And then that turned into as a regular artist for Mighty Avengers.
Yeah.
And then rest is history.
And on. Yeah, sure. So what changed for you or your design when you moved from strip to cover to interiors pages? Sorry.
What do you mean?
So what did you change?
Not much.
You draw in the same spirit, in the same same speed, everything the same?
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess I slowed down when I switched to interior. Well, I didn't really slow down because I was doing 4-panel strip for newspaper, which doesn't take much. I mean, I used to do about like 3 or 4 a day,
Okay.
And then suddenly I switched to interior, and interior comics is kind of like, it's bigger.
Yeah.
And it's 22 pages. So I had to like rethink a little bit, but it was okay. I mean, like I was like a big illustration. I love Golden Age illustrators, so when I was doing covers and stuff like that, I kind of like put my mindset as a big illustration piece, almost like a poster.
Okay.
And then so I switched that, and it was fine. It was fine.
Cool. My last question is, among all your series you have done, you are on the script and drawing, like Liberty Meadows, Shanna, Skybourne, Fight Girls. The heroines are always strong and sexy women. So do you feel the need to highlight women in comics?
I mean, no. I mean, it's just that, like, I wrote and drew a bunch of other stuff that doesn't involve women, but it's the women that my drawings of women that attract a lot of attention. Yeah. So I did a lot of horror monster comics, but no one really pays attention to that.
Okay.
But it's the women stuff they like. So given what the audience want. Yeah, I mean, I try not to do like highlight women, but it happens. And I'm actually writing a bunch of stories right now that doesn't deal with women stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more horror.
Okay.
And also I'm doing a bunch of stuff where the women are the main characters. So I'm doing both, you know. It basically, I don't really try to focus on one thing. It's whatever stories that I like, you know, so, and then that it just happens.
So thank you for all your answer. It's going to be for you a YouTube channel called, in French, it's called 10h47. It's called 10h47. It's called 10 p.m. 47 because it's the hour that Batman put on his clock to going in a Batcave. That's why we call that. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Now you know it. So can you please just say, hello, this is Frank Cho, and you're looking 10h47. Can you try it? 10h47. Yeah, very good.
Hi, I'm Frank Cho, and welcome to 10h47.
Thank you very much. It was so cool. Thank you.
Donc, on vient de voir cette magnifique interview de Frank Cho par Denis.
Yes.
Ça a été fait un petit peu à la sauvage.
Ah bah ça se voit, hein, la qualité de la vidéo est pas ouf. La qualité du son ça va. Je me suis un peu près démerdé. Mais alors en fait c'était, pour tout vous dire, à la Comic Con, non ça s'appelle Fantasy Bell.
Fantasy Bell, c'est ça.
Okay. Fantasy Basel, voilà. Fantasy Basel.
Bagel.
C'est la Comic Con en Suisse, à Bâle, Basel. Et c'est une Comic Con énorme. C'est la plus grande que j'ai jamais fait.
Il y a des trous.
Le plan il est immense.
Non. Il y a des trous dans le plan. Ouais, je peux le refaire. Non, toujours pas.
Non, toujours pas. Ça, c'est
tu nous envoyais des photos, ça avait l'air grand, ouais.
Ah ouais, il y a
trop. Arrête, ta gueule.
Est-ce qu'on peut couper le micro du connard en bas ou pas?
Alors techniquement, je pourrais.
Oui, mais tu le feras pas.
Ne dis pas ça. Oui, donc c'était à Bâle, en Suisse, à la Comic Con, et vous étiez pas là malheureusement, donc j'y suis allé seul. Et je l'avais contacté un peu avant pour savoir s'il serait OK pour l'interview. Et il a dit j'adore 10h47, je regarde tous les jours. Du coup, il a accepté volontiers. Et arrivé sur place, et je lui dis on fait l'interview où on va, où on fait quoi? Et bien il dit là. Non mais genre là, en plein milieu avec les gens autour à ta table. Ouais.
Bon.
Ok, donc je pose mon téléphone sur une sorte de canne au bord de sa table, donc on était très proches l'un de l'autre, et du coup j'ai dû dézoomer avec le téléphone, d'où un peu cet effet high-fish, je trouve, qui est bien dégueulasse, mais bon, peu importe, on a Frank Cho à l'image, on a une petite interview sympa, et ce qui m'a fait rire, c'est que les deux premières questions, c'est quasiment au mot près les mêmes que pour Jim Lee, parce qu'en fait, ils ont le même début de parcours, ils sont nés dans le même pays, ont déménagé à peu près au même âge, ils ont fait à peu près les mêmes études. C'était super drôle, quoi.
Il y a des similitudes, c'est fou.
Ouais, on interview que les Coréens.
C'est ça.
Ouais.
Nous, on fait que les Coréens.
Là, le prochain, c'est Kim Jong-un, non?
Oui, mais non.
C'est pas la même Corée.
Faut passer la frontière, c'est chaud.
Ouais, c'est chaud. Et donc, oui, c'était à la Fantasy Basel, qui, au passage, est donc énorme. C'est plusieurs bâtiments, plusieurs étages. C'est en Suisse, donc c'est pas en euros, c'est ça qui est un peu chiant. Et c'est assez cher comme tout en Suisse. Par contre, ouais, c'est immense. Et ils ont marqué qu'il y aurait 80 000 personnes attendues sur les 3 jours. C'est un truc de malade.
Mais c'est ouf.
d'accord.
Mais il y a
Ouais.
des trucs Star Wars, enfin,
Oui,
j'ai
oui,
vu
il y a
des
des
images,
expos énormes, il y a
c'est énorme.
des vaisseaux. Et moi, j'y suis allé le premier jour, c'est bizarre, c'est le jeudi, vendredi, samedi. Moi, j'y suis allé le jeudi puisque c'était férié. Et
Oui.
j'y suis allé que le matin. Putain, il n'y avait personne à l'artiste allé. Tu avais des monstres. Tu avais Ezad Ribic, tu avais Mike Perkins. Il y avait encore
Ah
deux,
oui,
trois gros noms. Et les mecs s'ennuyaient. Il n'y avait personne devant leur table. C'est fou. Hein. Il y
putain.
avait Arjem qui fait les
Ah
covers de
oui,
malade.
ah, il fait des
Ouais.
super. Sur les
Mais,
DC DC's, notamment.
ouais. Mais
D'accord.
ils sont tous très très chers. Donc c'est peut-être pour ça.
Ça, bon, bah après, apparemment, il a l'air sympa, il a l'air cool en plus.
Oui, il a
Franck Cho.
été très sympa. On a discuté un petit peu. Il a signé des comics en même temps aux gens et tout. Non, non, c'était très cool. Et donc, vivement la prochaine Comic Con et la prochaine interview. J'ai pas grand chose à vous dire. Tout était dans l'interview. Voilà.
Mais c'est parfait.
Bah, c'est déjà pas mal, écoute.
Alors, je veux bien dans les commentaires si quelqu'un est déjà allé à la
Oui.
Fantasy Basel, là, qui me donne un peu son avis. Et si vous avez d'autres conventions à nous conseiller, en dehors peut-être de toujours Paris, moi je connais celle de Facts en Belgique, et j'ai fait une fois une German Comic Con en Allemagne, forcément, à, j'ai oublié le nom, Dortmund, exactement.
Dortmund.
Dortmund,
Ouais.
yar. Donc, si vous avez d'autres Comic-Con à nous conseiller en Europe, je suis preneur de vos avis.
Bah là, je crois, il y a le Hero Festival à Grenoble. Non, ça a eu lieu. Ça a eu lieu. Je crois que c'était ce week-end ou le week-end dernier, un truc comme ça. Mais
Il y a
après, je
le
sais pas,
Une
Bordeaux
vraie
Geek.
Comic-Con.
Oui, non, c'est ça.
Non,
Mais après, il y a
non.
le Bordeaux Geek Festival, là, 18 et 19 mai. Donc, en ce moment,
Déjà
quand la
passé.
vidéo est diffusée, oui, déjà passé. Moi et les dates. Non, mais enfin, même est-ce qu'il y en a celles qui sont en Espagne, je sais pas, il y en a, je connais pas du tout l'autre côté de la frontière, donc dites-nous ce que vous connaissez. Et si
Ouais,
elles valent
Bah
le
ouais.
coup,
peut-être
surtout.
pas.
Envoyez-nous des
Eh ben
billets aussi.
voilà, messieurs, c'est tout pour moi.
Eh ben,
Oui,
c'est
oui,
déjà pas
bah
mal.
voilà,
Merci
on
de
se
t'être
fait une
dévoué.
petite émission. Oui, c'est vrai. Merci, merci pour ça. On se
Ah,
fait une
c'était un
petite émission.
sacrifice, si vous saviez.
Et on n'en doute pas. Sans déconner, on n'en doute pas.
Ben, on est de tout cœur avec toi.
Merci.
Sur ce, on vous laisse là. On se retrouve la semaine prochaine, sûrement pour nos lectures du mois de mai.
Mais
Et
c'est le but
puis, ouais, voilà.
au départ.
Et puis, c'est ça. Et puis, bah, après, on verra. Hein, si on change, on change. Mais voilà.
Jean Bonneau. Allez,
C'est tout pour nous.
j'ai
À
faim.
bientôt. Ciao, ciao.
Tchuss.
Ciao.